Hello everyone, hello business owners, my fellow citizens. This is going to be a very short video. I know the last ones were about 8 minutes. I'm going to try to get it down to like 3, just for your appetite. This video today is about defund the American National Standards Institute. QA authority Daryl Guberman says why and explains. Well, this is the sign that I held up when I was walking and marching around ANSI on 1899 Northwest Washington. I think it was L Street. And this was October 2022 because I placed in for nomination myself to their director at large. I put a 54-page document with 16 letters of recommendation to this. And here it is, 54-page document. The thing about it that disturbed me is that at the end, there was a 9-question questionnaire that was sent to me. I also, by the way, was sent a personal letter, even though it was a form letter, from Joe Battia, the CEO, who said, here is some links, and it takes you to the Code of Conduct. Well, Russ Chaney, by him saying what he said, there is no Code of Conduct at ANSI. It's just a fictitious bullshit thing. And I will play Russ Chaney and what he said in 2019. I exposed an impropriety with laboratory certification, A2LA, and etc. And what happened is somebody probably bugged Russ up at the time because I had a A2LA employee, a Miss Ashley Morton, right underneath my video stating that ANSI and A2LA are separate entities and accreditation bodies in the United States. I did another video. Once I did that video, I shook the hornet's nest, and Russ Chaney called me up, and he said this.
I'll return your call as soon as possible. Record your...
You have federal agencies and corporations on board. Since he is the chairman, or whatever you want to call him at the time, anyone who sits on the board accepts him as the leader saying these words. It's like the President of the United States saying, "Have a nut, fuck you." And a lot of you people out there are saying, "Oh, what's wrong with that language?" He is the shining light of the organization. This is what the organization has been degraded to, a half a nut, fuck you. I went down there and I picketed them because I thought it was wrong. I was the one standing there. Yes, guess what? The FBI was walking by me. The Secret Service came up to me. The police came up to me. Who you're here with? Well, 3 weeks before, I did all the research. Washington, D.C. has such bad, they got such bad crime. Remember, you can't walk there at night. It used to be you couldn't even walk there during the day. At least in 30 or 40 years, they've cleaned that mess up. You can walk around in the daytime. And then even then you hear about crap. Look at the city. Marion Barry, I think his name was. He got caught for cocaine selling and all the rest of the stuff, and then he got elected again. So you can tell what type of mentality stays in Washington, D.C. I apologize for those people who are listening to this or watching this, but poof. So I was down there, and I'll never forget what the policewoman said to me. She says, "Who are you representing?" I said, "Who am I representing?" I said, "You should be out on the street catching criminals, not bothering me." Well, I was about a mile away, maybe 2 from the White House. So the first one came on board was the Secret Service. The guy came out, he was wearing like I don't know whether it was a life jacket because the bullshit is so thick and then the water's so thick. Washington's built on a swamp, so it looked like a life preserver that he had on. He had so many different utensils in that jacket that he had. I don't think if somebody was trying to get to one of our officials, I don't think that he could pull any sort of weapon fast enough because he'd be stuck in his life preserver. Unbelievable. But anyway, I let him listen to Russ Chaney's voicemail, "Half a nut, fuck you." And he walked away and shaking his head, and that was it. Because they don't want to commit to anything because they're scared if you do a lawsuit that you bring them involved. So they just walk away. There was this guy from the FBI walking around with his vest, and then a woman came up to me, very professional, and I knew she was part of the gang too. And she was interested about what I had for about the workshop in Wuhan, China, that was between the United States and China between May 17th and 19th, 2017, 2 years before the COVID outbreak happened. They were talking, the very first item of business within this article that I showed her was about gain-of-function research, where, you had Anthony Fauci under deposition with Senator Rand Paul asking him the question about gain-of-function. And Fauci said, I don't know, I didn't give any money. And there were actual documents that showed about $3.9 million being funneled to Wuhan, on top of some other cash, that they were doing research on. Because what we do is that there's a branch of the CDC and NIH, which also sit on ANSI. There's a branch over in China. Do you know why? Because human bodies are expendable in China. They got 1 billion people and they lack human empathy. Just stick them with this or that, rather than doing it with lab rats. Although I will say this, Benjamin Netanyahu stated in a video interview or audio, whatever, he said that all of Israel was a lab for Pfizer. Isn't that nice from the Prime Minister of Israel? There, God help your soul. But anyway, he said that. So I walked with this sign down there. I was there for about 2 days. I was going to stay 3 days, but I had to have some dental work done, so I left. And I will probably be going back to ANSI as well, but we're going to expose them for what they are, because this is their mission statement. Anyone who sits on ANSI, any corporation, any federal agency, they must condone this, but they sit there because it's a protection device for them. It's a big protection for ANSI to scurry under the improprieties of fudging documentation like Boeing did on their jet aircraft, like Kobe Steel, and they're all entwined. If it's Boeing, don't get going. You also have Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson, who skipped quality standards and processes and had recalls of the COVID vaccine. Do you think I'm going to be an idiot and take one of those shots? When you already know that the FDA is in bed with these people, you already know that the FDA have people on board complaining about medications that are being manufactured for you and I in India and China, and the FDA goes like this, and goes like this. That organization I've called for to be defunded. Once you defund these federal agencies and restart the engine over again with people who actually give a damn, rather than making these inflated salaries and bonuses because they're running government like corporate America, we need a change. My telephone number is 203-556-1493 or Daryl, D-A-R-Y-L, TQRS at yahoo.com. And yes, for those people who say, did this guy really say have a nut fuck you? Well, here's his number. Do me a favor, give him a call and see. Maybe he disconnected it now, but that was his number then. And that was the date that he said it in 2019. And his number is 909-472-4201. That's 909-472-4201. And ask him, what did you do? What did you do? Half a nut fuck you, making $350,000 for working maybe once a year for less than an hour? I think ANSI meets twice a year. And they meet maybe, 6 hours? That's good money. And especially where there's no taxes taken out as a royalty payment. 203-556-1493 or Daryl, TQRS at yahoo.com. I thank you.